This is a message from your guides reading for Sirius business. And I have four crystals for your reading today. My last one was blending in with my black table here. Okay, so I have obsidian, as you might have just noticed. So helping to psychically protect yourself and block energies coming towards you, clear your space. And then I have also some psychic abilities coming in with this one as well. And then I have my peacock ore here, so maintaining all of the various chakras and making sure that they are cleansed out and working properly. Then I have my turquoise here, so this is a throat chakra stone, but I also feel like I've pulled this because of the water, actually. So there's a connection with water coming in with that stone. I'm feeling that with this one also, the green fluorite here. And this is actually a really, really calming, healing heart chakra stone. It's also grounding. I feel like I should mention that as well. There are a lot of nature energies with the green fluorite, so it can be a very grounding stone also. But definitely healing, calming. And I feel like the water is kind of coupled with that as well. So there's also some healing energies coming here with the turquoise, even though that's normally a throat chakra stone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some protective space with my peacock ore. Okay, so several things coming up. So one would be some cords in your back area, or yeah, those were some cords, but there's also just some general kind of energy there, like some kind of murky, old, kind of black energy that needs to lift out of there. And I feel like some of this is really going back to your parents. Some of this has to do with the authority thing that they talked about, which was coming from your father. But this even feels like almost like the way that you kind of always observed your mom and your dad sort of respond to one another, and kind of the relationship that they had in some ways, and the ways that it wasn't working. So the negative ways this feels like versus the positive ways. And this is where you've gotten some of these cords from. It feels like these specific ones they're showing me, I don't want to say some, I want to say all. These are where you got all of these from. This had to do with your parents and watching them. And even your own response to watching them and what they would put out. But it's like you kind of observe when you're watching your parents, it's like you sort of reflected on yourself, where it's like you're observing your own placement, like you're finding out this is where I fit, or this is these are the things that I need to do, and even this is how I need to behave, and this is how I need to see things. And obviously that's when you're young, and it's based off of their opinions and their responses to one another. But then it grows into something else as you mature and you become older and you become an adult. Then it doesn't feel like you need to follow so much. Then you're doing your own thing. Um, but still almost according to these rules and programmings that you gave yourself a long time ago. And they are putting it that way. They are saying, and you did give them to yourself, even though you were young, even though you were a kid, and it is what you adopted and it's what you observed. Still, they're saying that every soul knows who they're going to come in with, the parents and the family that they're going to have, and issues that may come up for them. So every soul is well aware of those things, and they choose those things for different reasons. And whatever the circumstances we put ourselves in, that's those are the roles that our souls are choosing to play. And your guides are also saying, and the thing is, this life is very temporary. So your soul considers it lessons, even if it seems really bad to someone else, even if you were born very poor, for instance, or something like that. This is a challenge that your soul must face, that it brought itself into for whatever reason. To defeat something within itself, or to realize something. So they're saying there can be many, many reasons for why you choose, for why a soul chooses the family that it does. For reasons that will serve them in the long run, if they choose that. If they're willing to choose that. And that's not so much the soul. The soul is, that's not at all the soul, actually. The soul is always willing, but it is the conscious us, our consciousness. So you have the soul, which you can think of as like this deeper part of yourself, or the deepest part of yourself, or some people would call it, their higher self, the highest part of themselves. I tend to think of it as the deepest part of yourself, and that's how I've always channeled it from the council. Because it's who you are, it's the core of you. So there, obviously, your intention is always to grow, to expand. But it's the consciousness that gets in the way, because the consciousness doesn't always understand. The consciousness doesn't always know what it's doing. It doesn't always know what the soul wants. It doesn't remember its mission or its soul's purpose when it comes here. It forgets a lot of things, because we also have this physical brain that we're operating through, and we're filtering out a lot of things, and we're trying to kind of remain physical at the same time. We're trying to be grounded here and gain a sense of our physical reality while we're here, which can be a lot to take in, because we're not used to this place. We're not used to being physical. We're used to being spirits. We're used to being in an etheric body, since that's normal for us. That's where we are all the time. And this is such a temporary place, a temporary thing to do, a temporary way of learning. Each life is very temporary. So your guides are saying that you chose those challenges, you chose to see those things, to observe those things as a kid. You consciously chose to respond in the way that you did, which your guides are saying is fine. There's nothing wrong with any response. The only thing that matters is right now, and how you choose to respond now, and that always matters. The past doesn't matter, but what you're doing now does. What you're doing now can serve you, or it can not serve you. So your guides are saying that in some ways you're doing very well. They're saying that there's a lot of karma that's already cleared, and you've broken a lot of karmic cycles actually recently, it feels like. So you are doing well, you are doing better, and you're noticing those changes. They're saying you're feeling freer, you're feeling happier, you're feeling less stress, and you're feeling a little bit more yourself, like you're coming more into your own. But at the same time, they're saying that you need to do that alone. Even while you're around others. So they're saying if you have a friend who really resonates with you, if you find that person in any environment, that's great. But they're saying that so far you haven't found that here. And they're saying not to go looking for it, and they're saying not to feel like you have to be polite and you have to be around all these people if you don't really need to be, like coworkers, bosses. It even feels like clients or people in the shop. You don't have to give your attention to them all the time. Obviously, they're kind of the most important. You're going to have to give some of your attention to them, probably more than anybody else. But the point is that if you don't have to, don't. But they're saying that your main reason to be there is to be in the water and to detach from human beings, to not have attachments that don't serve you. So your guides are saying, like with these cords on your back, right? So you saw your mom and your dad and the way that they would engage each other all the time. And they're saying that sometimes there would be these conflicts. And there would be an energy of conflict there that you had to handle as a little kid, that you were seeing all the time. And then it would even be put towards you a lot of the time as well. Or you would feel that energy coming towards yourself and coming off of them, because they had that with one another. But again, sometimes that would be put towards you directly as well. But again, what they're saying is that what matters is now. And now you're learning not to be so responsive or even communicative um, out of politeness and um, feeling like feeling almost like you have to be seen a certain way or come across a certain way when you don't. Now, if you really need to say something, obviously that's different. If you need to voice your opinion, then that's different. Or if you just need to simply respond to someone, like they're asking you a question or whatever it is. But you remember what they're referring to and what we talked about in your last thought form removal session. So they don't need to get into that too much more. They're bringing it up because they're saying that you're doing well with that, but what it's causing is detachment and for you to let go of what you observed. So you don't have to be responsive in that same way. You don't have to respond to others in this kind of conflicting way that you always observed, where you feel like there's some conflict. You feel like something's going to come toward you that makes you feel insecure or unsafe, and like you don't trust the person or trust the energies coming towards you. Now you can kind of be in your own cocoon a little bit more in your own space and feel free and comfortable and like yourself more, even when you're around these other people. So they're saying that that's a good thing. So there's a feeling like you don't need to go out all the time and socialize. You don't need to make connections that aren't there. Because the point is letting go. Not adding to your energy field like toxic energies that are going to bring it down more. Because the point of being here for your soul and what you're learning right now, it's not to connect with people. It's to connect to yourself, where these feelings that come off of people don't affect you negatively anymore. Where your guides are saying where you don't feel drawn to sort of like drama in a sense, negativity or emotions that are coming off of people, because they're saying that you are very empathic also, as you know. And this is also why the obsidian was coming in, why this was drawn for this reading. So your guides are saying that you're doing very well. And they're saying that that's their advice for now, to keep moving forward, to keep pushing through, to keep letting go, relaxing in your environment, whatever's happening around you, and then just being in the water. Just let it go. And water is a huge representation of that. It's a huge symbol of letting go, allowing, trusting, letting the universe, because it's all about flowing. Water flows. Water is flowing. So your guides are saying that even in the sense of chakras, it's this sort of universal flow symbology, the water. And so even when it comes to your meridians and the energies moving through your different chakras and your energy field, This is a symbol of all those things working together and connecting and being in a flow or a harmony. So all of your chakras being in tune with each other and your meridians and all of your energy, like this connectivity being there. They're also saying that the water is very lucid. It makes you very lucid, very aware. Um, and they mean this more like kind of psychically, intuitively, empathically. And it's also fuel for you specifically. So the water is what will help you to let go, but also to fuel and recharge. And they're saying that that's all that you need. All you need is the water, and you have to learn to go to the water, put yourself in the water, and rely on that. And eventually, you know, these other habits that you feel like are kind of filling a space right now, this will go away. But you have to still let go of more, and those habits are like almost showing you that. They're showing you what's still there, but you know that you're doing better. So they're saying that tendency will go, it will vanish, but they're saying only once you're full and not of human energies. Once you've really learned to ground and protect your energies, and once you have this self-awareness of what your space needs, of what you need to fuel yourself and fulfill yourself, where you feel fine and confident, and where you don't feel dragged down by various energies around you, and you don't feel like you have to go to some outside source. But your guides are saying that that's coming. The habits will eventually be dropped, and they're saying little by little, you're definitely getting there. And they're saying that you're getting better with all of this, and they're observing that. So you've done very well. It feels like you still need to be in this environment for a while longer. And that's still just because of what you are releasing. But they're saying, but get comfortable with it. And don't feel like it's a struggle. And they're saying that that's the goal, to enjoy it. To actually be able to feel joy and feel calm and feel all these higher things in the water when you're yourself, and when you're by yourself in that sense, even if you are with a group, because the water so resonates with you, it still feels like you are alone in that sense, and you're getting what you need, you're being filled up. It feels like it's you and your guides when you're in that space, even if people aren't around, even if people are around you. But your guides are saying that you're going to learn to take that and put it into this other environment, this new environment where you're working around people, and they're saying that eventually it will transfer to there, as long as you're in the water enough, because it feels like you need that constant energy, you need that constant refill being on land. So that's one thing that your guides are saying to remember, is that you are a fish out of water. When you're on land, you're the fish out of water. And the water will keep you fueled for so long, but this is really something that your soul, in a sense, needs, just because it resonates with that energy, that current so deeply. And the more that you tune to that, the more yourself you're going to feel. The more like yourself you're going to be. Okay, so that is all that your guides have to say for this reading. Thank you very much for allowing me to do another reading for you. And as always, I truly hope that it benefits you. Thank you. Namaste.